You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chatting with Colin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chattin' with Colin. I can't believe it's been over a month since I have done one of these podcasts. Have you missed me? Good. What can I tell you? Well, do you like our new logo? Chattin' with Colin and the billboard. AI did it, which is crazy to me that I feel like graphic designers, we're not going to need them in a few years, but they have great talents and skills, so we need our graphic designers, but also we don't have much of a budget here, so I had to use AI. But I love all you graphic designers out there. Don't come at me. I'll keep hiring you, I promise. Congrats to Josh Brooks, our new first selectman, for getting sworn in. It was a few weeks ago now, but in the middle of November. What else has happened? I went to Tennessee. So I know I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee and Pigeon Forge. I've never been to Tennessee. I went by myself. I rented a car and I just wanted to check out that part of America, and very interesting. But it was fun. I mean, I went to this place called Anakista. I took a big ski lift up to the top, the highest point in downtown Gatlinburg. That was fun. And then, of course, I had to go to the town next to me in Gatlinburg, was Pigeon Forge. Dollywood, I love it. Celebrating its 40th year. So much fun. I went on all the coasters now that I could fit on them. And then, speaking of fitting, I never, ever, ever in my wildest dreams thought I'd ever go ziplining. And why not pick the longest zip line in America? So this was at Wildside, which was also in Pigeon Forge. There's a video on my Facebook. It was like over 2.5 minutes, just going down this mountain, beautiful views, the fall foliage. I went up to 55 miles an hour. It was crazy. And then they have the Salt and Pepper Museum down there in Gatlinburg. Over 20,000 pairs of salt and pepper shakers. If you remember, Born in America was this pizza place in Branford in the Brushy Hill Plaza. Daryl and Bernadette Janis used to own it, and they used to have a very eclectic collection of salt and pepper shakers. And my Aunt Elaine used to, every time she came up, would give them some salt and pepper shakers that were really fun. I didn't realize that there literally is a salt and pepper shaker for anything and everything you could think of. So if you're looking for that special gift for the holidays for your significant other or a friend, salt and pepper shakers. And you know rainbow is my favorite color, so I'll take anything rainbow. And then the end of last month, on November 25th, we were awarded at Branford Parks and Recreation, the Shoreline Theater Company. It received the Program of Merit Award for 2025 from the Connecticut Recreation and Parks Association, which is a big deal. I mean, every Parks and Recreation department that is in Branford and some of Rhode Island was there, and that award was so unexpected, and myself and Mike Martone got to accept it along with the rest of the staff at Branford Parks and Recreation. I thank the Connecticut Recreation and Parks Association for that. And in between, we went and checked out, we did our first Broadway bus trip. So we went to Greg Noble's show, The Queen of Versailles, starring Kristen Chenoweth. We got the VIP treatment. I mean, after the show, we got to chat with some cast members, and Kristen came out. We took some pictures. We got on the stage. It was a great time. I'm so glad the Broadway bus trips are coming back to Branford Parks Recreation and Senior Services. Thanks, Greg, for everything, and CV Productions, and everyone, the whole team at Queen of Versailles. What else? A few weeks ago, I was a guest on Gay Talk 2.0. That's all I'm going to say. If you're a podcast person, search Gay Talk 2.0. It was pretty good. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I certainly did. I was at my sister's in White Plains, New York. That's where she and her husband and my two nieces, Claire and Emma, live. It was great to be with them. And then on Saturday, most recently, we had the holiday parade and tree lighting. Were you there? There were a lot of people there. It was like 5,000 people. A lot of fun. A little less, the amount of floats were less, the number of floats, but the execution and the production value of the floats, very good. So it does keep getting bigger and bigger every year. Thank you to everyone that participated in that. Is there anything else? I can't believe it's December. I really, truly can't. You know, it's my busy month, and I did order a fat suit or two in order to play the big guy. Don't worry. I can't wait. Dale just opened up the whole Santa gift delivery. So instead of doing 85 people, I'm doing over 140 people on a fire truck the week of December 15th. So get ready. I'm not going to have a voice after that week, but I'm sure some of you are happy about that. Okay, last but not least, former podcast guest Marcello LaGreca. It's your 30th birthday today, so I just wanted to say happy birthday. Save space, save grace. Happy 30th. Okay, with that said, who do we have today? Oh, we have from the First Congregational Church, Reverend Joe Perdue. Welcome to Chattin' with Colin, Joe Perdue. How are you doing?
Thanks, Colin. I'm happy to be here, and I'm very well.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself and where you grew up and what brought you to Branford before we talk about what you're really here for.
So I grew up in Florida, and I got out of there as soon as I could.
Whereabouts in Florida?
Ocala.
Okay.
It's where the south ends and the north begins.
Yeah.
And that's its only distinction. Moved to Virginia for graduate school. Then I moved to New York City for a residency where I met my wife, who is from Guilford. So as soon as an opportunity to move to Connecticut came up, we jumped at it. So now I'm minister of First Church in Branford, and she still works as a wardrobe and costume supervisor on Broadway.
I love that. What show is she with now?
Right now she is on Archduke, which is a dark comedy about the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand.
Wow. I love a good costume designer. I can't wait to meet her. Actually, I think I've met her, but I haven't worked with her in the creative capacity yet. But hopefully soon.
Absolutely.
What's her name again?
Julia.
Julia. Hi, Julia. So what brought you to Branford?
So in the middle of COVID, I was looking for a new church, and the stars just aligned, and it was perfect because the congregation is a great fit for me, and we're less than 20 minutes from where she grew up. So all of her family is still here.
And when she goes back and forth to the city, does she drive or take the train?
Takes the train.
Takes the train. Good. Awesome. So I know I've done a few events with you on the green. I think 1 or 2 Branford Prides, and then we had a Matthew Shepard event a year or 2 ago for a big anniversary. Why did you get involved with those events? And I know all of the churches on the green sort of band together to have louder voices. Can you tell me a little bit about that and why you and your parish got involved?
So it's the 3 churches on the green plus Tabor Lutheran Church.
Correct.
It's because so much harm has been done in the name of Christianity to our siblings in the LGBTQ plus community, when in fact our sacred scriptures do not say that there's anything sinful or inherently wrong about being an LGBT person. So since so much harm has been done in our name, in the name of our faith, we feel that it's important for us to undo that and make up for it and to very loudly proclaim that God loves everyone. I
agree that he loves everyone, or she, and
or they.
Or they, exactly. I agree. But I think I grew up Roman Catholic. I went to St. Mary's School for 10 years. Class president, 1999. Thank you. I'm not really a practicing Catholic anymore, but I do love seeing your signs outside. It seems like all are welcome in your congregation. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I've also performed at the Congregational Church in Guilford, where Bill Speed is the music director, and he's asked me to come to some services and sing a song or two. I know that you're very welcoming, but where did that stem from?
So the United Church of Christ formed in 1957 as a merger of 2 denominations. So we have a history of ecumenicism and cooperation with different people. And one of the things that came out of that merger is that our basis of membership, when you join a church, it's not because you believe a particular thing or you affirm a particular creed. It's you enter into covenant with each other, which means that the basis of all of our memberships and relationships are the promises we make. So that allows for great diversity. And one of the things we like to say is that our God is a God of extravagant welcome. And we also like to approach Scripture with humility. We like to say that God is still speaking. and that is a paraphrase of what the minister of the Puritans said when they left England for North America, that there is still more light yet to break forth from God's holy word. So we know that God is still speaking. The last word has not been said, and we still all have a lot to learn.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing in 2019, I was sort of the chairman of the Branford 375 committee when Branford was celebrating its 375th birthday. And I remember from doing research all throughout that year and the year before, the Congregational Church on the Green and the history of Branford, they're sort of one and the same. Can you explain a little bit about the history of the Congregational Church and how it coincides with the founding of Branford?
Absolutely. So Branford is not unique in that respect. Over most of New England, whenever a town was founded, it was actually a church that was being founded, and the town grew up around the church community. Most of New England was a theocracy until shortly before or a little after the Revolutionary War, depending on where you are. In Branford's case, it was founded by Puritans from Massachusetts, who were upset that the other Puritans in Massachusetts were getting a little bit too liberal. So, I know. So they decided to found a purer theocracy on the Long Island Sound, and that is where the New Haven colony came from. Branford was founded by some of the Massachusetts Puritans, as well as people from Wethersfield. They came together and thrived for a while until the king decided that the New Haven colony would be forced to merge with the Connecticut colony. And
Did you say the king?
the king
Who's the king?
would have
Trump?
been
No, sorry.
no, the real king. It was Charles. It was Charles I or Charles II.
Didn't mean to stump you. I just wanted to go for a joke. Keep going.
It's a good joke.
Thank you.
It was one of the Charleses, hopefully not the one who lost his head, forced the merger of the colonies, and Connecticut had adopted that liberal way of being, which essentially meant that church leaders could not prevent white rich men from voting for not being holy enough. So those church leaders who could not abide by that decided if they were going to be forced to merge with Connecticut, they were going to leave. So the minister of the Congregational Church took about half of the town, got on a ship, and sailed to Newark, New Jersey, to found a newer theocracy. And I think ending up in New Jersey was a harsh but fair divine punishment for them, which meant that everyone who was left were the ones who were not so bothered by the more open-minded perspective. And that, I think, is what has set Branford on the course to being the church it is today. It was the least pleasant people left early in our history.
And the church is involved with a lot. I know that so Killam's Point, there's some involvement there, and the Center Cemetery. I know from doing events there. Can you explain the involvement with those two Branford places?
Absolutely. So Center Cemetery used to be the church cemetery. And at some point in the past, well before I arrived, it was given independence and is now its own nonprofit. But church members are still very active and maintain a presence on the board. Killam's Point, I do know which king this was. King Charles II gave it to us as a gift in the late 1600s. And it's been part of the church ever since. Right now, it is down to 50 acres. It is the largest undeveloped wetland on the Long Island Sound, not owned by a state or city government. And we use it primarily in the summer for a very inexpensive day camp for children in the area. And we offer very generous scholarships to low-income kids. And then we operate Camp Tucket, which was founded decades ago because church members realized they were raising lots of money to send kids impacted by HIV to camps out of state because no local camps would accept them. And they finally realized, we have Killam's Point. Why are we doing all this work? Let's start a camp just for these kids. And now, thanks to advances in science, there just aren't enough kids who are impacted by HIV to need a camp, as well as more openness and less, frankly, superstition around the disease. So while we still get referrals from the HIV center and AIDS hospitals in the area, we bring campers who have experienced any kind of trauma. People affected by domestic violence, children who are refugees, anything you can think of. If they have suffered a traumatic event, they get a week of free camp, and we have a one-on-one counselor-camper relationship.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
And the last thing about the history, because I've done a few Center Cemetery tours, which were sort of half theatrical and half historical. I know that there was a minister or a reverend. There was someone at the Congregational Church that like someone's spouse kept dying, or there was like four.
Yes.
What is that story?
So there's a woman who had married multiple ministers, and they all.
If I had a nickel,
Yeah. She definitely had a type, so good for her.
what was her type? Just the minister
Just
type?
clergy. But
Wow.
they all died mysteriously.
Well, she definitely poisoned them.
Probably. Or they just had dysentery, or, were anti-vaxxers.
And is she buried in the center cemetery?
She is.
What's her name?
I cannot recall her name. It's bad luck for clergy to say it.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you on the next episode of Chatting with Colin. So the real reason you're here, Reverend Joe Perdue, is to talk about this Christmas fair that you guys do every year that I hear is 100 years old this year.
It's our 100th anniversary.
God, you guys have never looked better.
Thank you.
Just a little nip tuck, a little face tune up here. No, tell me about the history of the Christmas fair and what's happening this year with it.
So it is speaking as somebody who didn't grow up in New England, it is one of the most New England things that I've ever seen. It's incredible. Like I said, we've been doing it for 100 years. It's definitely evolved over time. When it started, we didn't have the hall, and frankly, half of the building hadn't been constructed yet. So it would have been in our meeting house and the
So
area
when did
underneath
Fellowship
it.
Hall get built?
Sometime in the 50s.
So what was the original church? Like or was that not
So
anymore?
our current building is from the 1840s. The
Okay.
original building was a wooden structure in what is now Center Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
It was down by the river because the Puritans thought you should walk through the graveyard to, be reminded of your mortality. They were lots of fun at parties, as you could imagine. But this is our third building, and it was built out of brick because the other buildings kept burning down.
Wow. As you can tell, I love the history part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of everything, but I really dived deep in 2019. So that's really why I know a lot about the Congregational Church. But I've never been to the Christmas fair, and I got a call from Rosie, I think.
It's Rosie.
Yeah, Rosie. I got a call from Rosie, and she was so very passionate about the Christmas fair, and I was like, yeah, I have this show. Why not have Reverend Joe come on, and we'll talk about it. So let me know. Wait, it's this weekend?
It's this Saturday,
This Saturday. What time?
9 to 2.
9 to 2. And what type of stuff will be there? Is it indoor, outdoor, both?
It's exclusively indoor, but it's pretty much the entirety of the building.
Wow.
There is something for everyone. So I want you to imagine you walk in the Walker Chapel entrance. There'll be somebody making custom Christmas ornaments right when you walk in. We have a fully staffed kitchen with some very talented culinary professionals. We are best known for our Rhode Island style clam chowder. I'm making broccoli cheddar soup as a vegetarian option.
You better save me some.
Absolutely. Just for you. We're going to have quiches, various desserts, burgers, hot dogs, breakfast sandwiches. In addition to the cafeteria, we have a frozen grab and go, so you don't have to cook later that day. We are having homemade wreaths, lots of homemade crafts. Then we have tons of toys, books, jewelry. There's a cookie walk where you can go select all of your own cookies. We have some pretty high-end antiques that have been donated to the church, as well as just toys that you would find at a yard sale. So no matter what your interest is and what your budget is, you'll definitely find Christmas gifts.
So is it your parishioners that are like donating stuff, tag sale style? Or are they making arts and crafts? Is it a mixture of both?
It's a mixture of both.
Wow. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
100 years you've been doing this. Wow. And where does the money go?
Our general fund.
Okay.
It's our largest fundraiser of the year, and it goes to support everything we do. We're very mission and justice oriented. So like you said, the church helped co-found Pride. We've done work with the Trevor Project, the Columbus House. We've supported Planned Parenthood, the Community Dining Room, Feed Branford Kids, Branford Food Pantry. Take a Vet Fishing was actually a ministry founded by the church, which is exactly what it sounds like. We take veterans out of clinical settings and take them fishing.
That's a great program.
And that has grown so large, it's now a separate nonprofit that is still headquartered at Kilmes Point, and we're very proud of all of the work that they do. We'd be here all day if I tried to list every single mission activity that we do in Branford. But I also want to say that the building itself is a hub of community activity. I've always said that if a church isn't used every single day, that it's very hard to justify the expense of having a building like that. So every weekday, we have a 12-step support group. We have a Tibetan cultural center that uses it on a regular basis to teach their children their cultural practices and language. We're just in a couple of weeks, we are co-hosting a Christmas party with the community dining room to give kids bikes. There is something happening in the building every single day to make the community a better place.
So what year did you start working?
2021.
2021. And now what are you most proud of that you or the church does in general, or that you have brought to the church?
I think the thing I'm the proudest of is their intentional welcome of people who are not typically welcome in spaces. We are very explicitly, like I said, welcoming of LGBT people. Every single week, one of the first things I say in the pulpit is, if you are gay, straight, trans, or pan, you are made by a loving God who calls you good, and so do we. But as a congregation, we've also committed to being a safe place for children and teenagers who are not neurotypical. A majority of the kids in our youth group are either on the spectrum or neurodiverse in some other way. And it's just been remarkable being able to create a safe space for them and learning from them and loving alongside them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it seems very welcoming. Okay. So thank you for that. And just a reminder, you can't pray the gay away. Got it?
It's true.
If you need to be reminded of that. Okay, speaking of reminders, so this Saturday, from what time to what time?
9 to 2.
9 to 2. So this Saturday, I'll definitely be making an appearance. I also am seeing my friend, American Idol winner Nick Fradiani, because he's performing at the Schubert in A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical. He's coming home. He's home. Actually, today is the first performance, and it runs, I think, till Sunday. So I'll be seeing him on Saturday. I saw him in his second performance ever on Broadway. I coached him when he auditioned for the first theater show he did before that was the tour of A Bronx Tale that I coached him on. And we both went to St. Mary's together. He was a year younger than me, and he was the pop star, and I was the Broadway boy. And he was making fun of me of loving Broadway, and now he's on Broadway. Go figure. Hi, Nick. I love Nick Fradiani. Well, this is exciting. Thank you for coming on Chatting with Colin. Is there anything else you want my audience to know about the church, about you, or about the event on Saturday before we wrap?
So Saturday is traditionally the day that everybody has their fair, so you'll have lots of options. I encourage you to stop at ours first and then go all around and check everyone out. What sets us apart, among other things, is that we are the only church fair that accepts credit cards.
Ooh, that's great. And how much did you make last year?
Over $11,000.
Was that your biggest year?
No.
What was your biggest year?
I think our biggest year was before I arrived, was closer to 20.
Okay, well, let's get back to closer than 20. Yeah, we got to at least over 11. Let's beat last year. But I think we could do 20.
I believe in us.
I mean, I can't. I told you, no budget here. But you can. Okay, Reverend Joe Perdue, thank you so much for coming on Chatting with Colin. Hopefully we'll have you again in the future. And thank you for watching Chatting with Colin. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chatting with Colin.